intend for it to be a series, but after careful study of the text, it has turned into a series. That series is called When God is With You. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but sometimes trials and tribulations of life can really make you feel like you're by yourself. Y'all ain't never been there? Like you don't have a friend in the world, but it is comforting to know that God is with us. Judges chapter 6, when you have it, would you stand? We're going to start at the 17th verse. We're going to read through the conclusion of this chapter. We're going to read quite a bit. And I really just want to do some teaching today. Just want to teach this text on today. And I'm reading from the Revised New International Version of the Scriptures. Gideon chapter 6, verse 17, there you'll find these words. Gideon replied, "If now I have found favor in your eyes, give me a sign that it is really you talking to me. Please do not go away until I come back and bring my offering and set it before you." And the Lord said, "I will wait until you return." Gideon went inside, prepared a young goat, and from an ephah of flour he made bread without yeast. Putting the meat in a basket and its broth in a pot, he brought them out and offered them to him under the oak. The angel of the Lord said to him, "Take the meat and the unleavened bread and place them on this rock and pour out the broth." And Gideon did so. Then the angel of the Lord touched the meat and the unleavened bread with the tip of the staff that was in his hand. Fire flared from the rock, consuming the meat and the bread, and the angel of the Lord disappeared. When Gideon realized that it was the angel of the Lord, he exclaimed, "Alas, sovereign Lord, I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face." But the Lord said to him, "Peace, do not be afraid. You are not going to die." So Gideon built an altar to the Lord and called it "The Lord is Peace," or Jehovah Shalom. To this day it stands in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. That same night the Lord said to him, "Take the second bull from your father's herd, the one 7 years old. Tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. Then build a proper kind of altar to the Lord, on the top of this height. Using the wood of the Asherah pole that you cut down, offer the second bull as a burnt sacrifice." So Gideon took 10 of his servants and did as the Lord told him. But because he was afraid of his family and the townspeople, he did it at night rather than in the daytime. In the morning, when the people of the town got up, there was Baal's altar demolished, and the Asherah pole beside it cut down, and the second bull sacrificed on the newly built altar. They asked each other, "Who did this?" When they carefully investigated, they were told, "Gideon, son of Joash, did it." The people of the town demanded of Joash, "Bring out your son. He must die because he has broken down Baal's altar and cut down the Asherah pole beside it." Watch this. But Joash replied to the hostile crowd around him, "Are you going to plead Baal's cause? Are you trying to save him? Whoever fights for him shall be put to death by morning. But if Baal is really God, he can defend himself when someone breaks down his altar." So because Gideon broke down Baal's altar, they gave him the name Jerubbaal that day, saying, "Let Baal contend with him." Now all the Midianites, Amalekites, and other eastern people joined forces and crossed over the Jordan and camped in the valley of Jezreel. Then the Spirit of the Lord came on Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, summoning the Abiezrites to follow him. He sent messengers throughout Manasseh, calling them to arms, and also into Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, so that they went up to meet him. Gideon said to him, "If you will save Israel by my hand, as you promised," watch this, "look, I will place a wool fleece on the threshing floor. If there is dew only on the fleece, and all the ground is dry, then I will know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you said." And that is what happened. Gideon rose early the next day. He squeezed the fleece and wrung out the dew, a bowl full of water. But then Gideon said to God, "Do not be angry with me. Let me just one more request. Allow me one more test with the fleece, but this time make the fleece dry and let the ground be covered with dew. And that night God did so. Only the fleece was dry, and all the ground was covered with dew. You may be seated in God's presence. When God is with you, part 2. When God is with you, part 2. Verse 12 says that the angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon and said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon replied, "But if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us?" Now, we discussed on last week, my brothers and sisters, that oftentimes we erroneously think that God is only with us when things are going for us. And the reason we feel this way is because the power of problems brings the presence of fear. And the presence of fear presents a challenge to faith. Now, as a result, we think that because God has not seemingly done anything about it, that he has left us. But we must understand, y'all, that the presence of a problem does not expel the presence of God. God is with us. A problem for us is not a problem to God. Now watch this. Because we know that God promises that he will never leave us nor forsake us. We know that God is always with us. We know that. We know that all things work together for good to those who love God. We know God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. We know he'll pick you up and turn you around. We know these things. But the issue is what we know and what we feel are not always congruent. Our knowing and our feeling are not always on the same page. Yeah, I know he's good, but what I'm going through right now doesn't feel good. I know he's able, but this situation seems impossible. I know he's with me, but I sure feel alone right now. I know it, but I'm not feeling it right now. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all, but I know these things, but is there anybody here that's ever just felt like I'm just not feeling it right now? I'm just not feeling right now. I don't feel like waving my hand. I just don't feel like saying hallelujah. I just don't feel like being in church. I just don't feel like it. Oh, y'all gonna leave me by myself. Okay. Sorry for being so honest today, but there are some Sundays I just don't feel it. I push my way through preaching. Y'all ain't gonna be with me. And sometimes I just don't feel it. Because sometimes our faith is in combat with the facts. I'm confident in knowing, but I'm confident in my knowing, but I'm conflicted in my feelings. I know I can make it. I just don't feel like I can make it right now. I know it's going to be all right. It just doesn't feel all right now. But Gideon says in verse 17, "Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, give me a sign." Yeah, give me a sign. I know that you are with me, but Lord, show me that you're with me. Give me a sign. And watch this. Sign in the Hebrew is the word oof. Oof. The word picture of the word oof is the word plow point. Plow point. Now this is interesting, y'all, because the plow is the most primitive yet the most important tool in agriculture to this day. The plow is used to break up the fallow ground. It's used to turn the soil over, and it is used to plant the seed in a straight line. But in order to get the plow line straight for seeding, the plowman has what's called a plow point. And the plow point is a distant mark in front of the plowman. So to get the line straight, the plowman does not focus on the lines under him. He focuses on the plow point in front of him. My brothers and sisters, the reality is we can become so distracted by what is happening around us that we lose sight of what God has in front of us. And so we need a sign that keeps us moving in the right direction. We need a sign, a plow point that keeps us aiming at the will of God. Are y'all with me in here today? I came to tell us that spiritual signs are not designed to help us understand why. Spiritual spiritual signs are designed to help us understand where. One more time. I'm going to say it till y'all get it. Spiritual signs are not designed to help us understand why. Spiritual signs are designed to help us understand where. Signs are not intended to help us understand the why of our worry, but the where of God's will. Yeah, you may not understand your problem, but the key is I need to know where the will of God is. And so I need a sign in my life that points us, we need a sign that points us to his will for our lives. Well, almost done, y'all. What are the signs that God is with us? First of all, the first sign we see in the text is the peace sign. The peace sign. Gideon says, he says, Lord, if I have found favor in your eyes, give me a sign. He says, give me a sign. Show me that you are with me. Is there anybody that's ever been there in your life? Lord, I know I trust that you're with me, but Lord, give me a sign that you are with me. Now, here's what Gideon did. Gideon said, please don't go away until I bring back my offering. He said, don't go nowhere until I bring you something. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but if you're looking for God to do something, what are you willing to do? Okay, I'm moving on. The Bible says that Gideon prepared a young goat and made unleavened bread from an ephah, or 35 pounds of flour. Now, the historicity of the text suggests that Gideon boiled the goat, and after boiling the goat, he put the meat of the goat in a basket and put the broth in a pot. Now, the text says that Gideon made a makeshift altar. He made a makeshift altar and offered this sacrifice to God. Can I just throw this in here for free? That when you need something from the Lord, you ain't got time to be cute and churchy. When you need the Lord to do something in your life, you ain't got time to be cute and churchy. You got to get what you need and do what you need to do. Oh, God will help me here to get in the presence of the Lord. And so Gideon made a makeshift altar. He took that sacrifice and put it on a rock. He sanctified the rock and said, I'm going to make this rock an altar. And he put the meat on the altar and poured out the broth. And the Bible says that the angel of the Lord touched the meat and the unleavened bread, and fire consumed the meat and the bread. Now watch this now, because fire was a sign of the presence of God. So when the offering caught fire, Gideon knew he was in the presence of the Lord. Now in verse 23, the Bible says that the Lord said to Gideon, peace. And so Gideon built another altar and called that altar Jehovah Shalom, or the Lord is peace. Yeah. Watch this, y'all, because the presence of this peace was in the presentation of the offering. The presence of this peace was in the presentation of the offering. Watch this, because the offering that Gideon brought was called the peace offering. Now, the peace offering was different from the other 4 Old Testament offerings, because the other 4 Old Testament offerings were offered to appease God or to please God. You gave the other 4 offerings because you needed something from God. But the peace offering was offered just to say thank you. Y'all ain't gonna hurt me today. It was just an offering to say thank you. Lord, I don't want anything from you. I just want to tell you thank you. I don't need anything from you right now. I just want to tell you thank you. I just want to thank you for what you've already done. I just want to thank you for the ways you've already made. I just want to thank you for the times you've already healed me. I don't want anything special from you. Lord, I just want to tell you thank you. And so whenever you wanted to just tell him thank you, you brought him a peace offering. And so I'm here to tell us today that when you give him praise, he'll give you peace. When you press your way to a praise, that's where your peace comes. If you learn to thank him in the midst of what you're going through, if you learn how to raise your hand even though you don't feel like it, if you learn how to tell him thank you even though though you don't feel like it. If you learn how to give him praise, even though you don't feel like it. If you push that shout out, even though you don't feel like it, that's where your peace comes from. Because your praise summons his presence. The Bible says that he called that place peace. That the Lord looked at him after his praise and said peace. And Gideon called the place peace. And you have to learn, y'all, to call it what God called it. I'm just going to give you that for free. You have to learn how to call it what God called it. Don't you let your situation define you and determine your circumstances. You got to call it what God calls it. If he said peace, you will not die, then I don't care what kind of surgery you going through. You're going to live. Y'all know. If he said peace, you will not die. I don't care what the situation is. You got to call it what God called it. First, there is the peace sign. Secondly, y'all, of the signs that God is with us, the second sign is the power sign. The power sign. Now, the Bible says in verse 25 that same night, the Lord said to Gideon, take the second bull from your father's herd. And here's what I want you to do. Watch this carefully, because God says, I want you to tear down the altar of Baal. I want you to cut down the pole of Asherah. And I want you to build up the altar of God. One more time. Three things I want you to do, Gideon. I want you to tear down the altar of Baal. I want you to cut down the pole of Asherah, which was the goddess. And then I want you to build up what God says, a proper altar. I want you to build up the altar of God. God says, first of all, I want you to tear down everything that doesn't bring me glory. I want you to tear down everything in your life. Y'all better hear me today. That doesn't bring him glory, because God had to remind Gideon that it was the worship of Baal and Asherah that got Israel in this mess in the first place. Uh-oh, it's quiet. And so you got to tear down everything in your life that is obstructing God from getting the glory out of your life. He says, I want you to tear down everything. I want you to tear down your problem, and I want you to build up your praise. I want you to build up the altar. Now, he says the last sacrifice was caught on fire, but this sacrifice, God says, I want you to set this one on fire. Yeah. He says, I want you to set this one on fire. Now he says, here's what I want you to do. Tear down the altar of Baal. Cut down the pole of Asherah, which was made of wool. I want you to make it made of wood. He says, I want you to take that Asherah pole and I want you to light it on fire. And then I want you to take the new sacrifice and I want you to burn it with the wood from Asherah. I'm trying to help us here today. Now, I told y'all that the peace offering is just to say thanks, but the burnt offering is an atonement for sin. And he says, I want you to use that Asherah pole and I want you to start a fire for this sacrifice. Sometimes you're going to have to take your problem, y'all, and use it to get in his presence. You're going to have to use that pain as a promotion to get in his presence. You're going to have to use that problem in your life to push you into the presence of God. All right. The Bible says that Gideon took 10 servants and he did as the Lord said, but he did it at night. And he did it at night because he was afraid of what the people would say. But in the morning, verse 28 says, when the people got up, they said, who did this? They saw the altar of Baal broken down, and they saw the Asherah pole cut down, and they saw the new sacrifice on this altar. And they said, who did this? And after careful examination, they figured out that Gideon had done this. The Bible says that the people went to his daddy. They went to Joash, his daddy, and said, bring your son. He's got an answer for what he did. But I like Joash's response. Joash said, why are you fighting for Baal? If Baal is God, let Baal fight for himself. I mean, why are you fighting for God? He said the God that we serve fights for us. The God that we serve is fighting fighting for us. The God that we serve is pushing back the darkness. The God that we serve is lighting up the kingdom that cannot be shaken. The God that we serve fights for me. He doesn't need me to fight for him. He fights for me. And if Baal is really God, let Baal contend with him. I'm trying to tell y'all that God will prove his power in the midst of what we are facing in our lives. You just got to give it over to him so that he can prove himself that he has the power in your life. God is fighting for us. Not only is he with us, y'all, he is fighting for us. He's fighting battles that you started. He's starting fights, y'all. He's ending fights that you started, that your mouth got you into, but you couldn't get yourself out of. He's fighting battles that you got yourself into, that you started, but he's fighting for us. And thank God that we serve a God who is fighting on our behalf. All right, I'm almost finished. Just one talk today. First, there is the peace sign. Then there is the power sign. Lastly, there is the promise sign. All right. The promise sign. Gideon said, okay, Lord, if you're really with me. Now, I know you're with me, but if you're really with me, and you're going to do what you promised, I just have one more sign. Yeah. Anybody ever had a God if you're really with me moment? Gideon said, Lord, if you're really with me, I just have one more sign. The Bible says in verse 37 that Gideon placed a piece of wool fleece on the threshing floor. And Gideon said, if the fleece is wet and the ground is dry, then I will know for sure this time that you're really with me. And so God said, he said, okay, Gideon, I hear you. And the Bible says that it happened just as Gideon asked. Gideon got up the next day, he got the fleece and run out so much water that the Bible says it filled a bowl. But the ground was completely dry. Then Gideon said, Lord, I have to be honest. I need to offer another sacrifice to you because I lied 5 minutes ago. I said that was my last test, but I got one more. That was nice, but I just got one more test. I just need to know for sure that you're really with me. Now notice, earlier he said, I need a sign. Then the sign turned into a test. Y'all better read the text. Here we can read the text here. He says, this time I want the fleece to be dry and the ground to be wet. And the Bible says that it happened just as Gideon asked. Watch this, y'all. You see, I realized that there is a reason that there was a shift from a sign to a test. Okay. And the reason is because I don't think it's that Gideon didn't trust God. Gideon didn't trust Gideon. I'm trying to help us in here, y'all. It's not that Gideon didn't trust God. Gideon didn't trust Gideon, y'all. And I realized that sometimes our uneasiness in our lives is not that we don't trust God, it's that we don't trust us. And so the fleece was not designed to determine God's will. The fleece was designed to confirm God's will for his life. Because Gideon didn't trust that he was able to do what God was calling him to do. Gideon did not trust that he was fit, that he qualified, that he was worthy enough to be used by God. But God said, I don't want you to trust yourself. I want you to trust me. And that's it, y'all. He said, I just want you to trust me. Lord, I know what you're doing. I just need to know that when I do it, I just need to know you're going to be with me. I just need to be able to be sure that God is going to be with us. And y'all, I just want to tell us today that whatever's going on, whatever's happening in your life, and whatever God is calling you to do, I'm giving you permission not to trust you. I want you to trust God. I want you to trust God. There is the promise sign. There is the peace sign. God looks at Gideon and says, peace. you're not going to die. At least not today, you're not. He said peace. And Gideon called the place peace. And you got to learn, y'all, how to just speak peace in your situation. You got to learn how to speak peace over your circumstance. Because peace is designed to take your joy. Peace is intended to take your comfort. That's what those problems do for you. They're designed to take your joy away. They're designed to get you focused off God. But you got to learn how to speak peace in the midst of what you're going through. And you got to learn how to believe peace. And then there is the power side. You got to let God prove himself in your life. You got to let him be God in your life. I'm here to tell you that you got to learn how to just take stuff and put it in his hand. And let him handle it. Because as long as you're still trying to intervene and figure out how you can work it out, you are disrupting what God is trying to do. But you got to let him be the power. Then there's the promise sign. He promises that he'll be with us. I said he promised. He promised that he's going to be with us. It's not that Gideon didn't trust God. Gideon didn't trust Gideon. And the truth is, y'all, we don't trust ourselves because we know what we can do. Yeah. We are fully aware of the situations we can get ourselves in. We know our own mouth. Y'all don't see? We know our own aptitude. We know ourselves. He says you got to trust God in the midst of what you're going through. Come on, we're standing.